7 out of 10 American workers just agreed on something the country usually fights bitterly about. And it's because of one thing: AI is taking their jobs. According to a new survey released this week, 70% of United States workers now support creating an AI wealth fund, basically a government program that would tax profits from AI companies and distribute that money to workers displaced by automation. That's extraordinary consensus in a nation that's normally divided. Wealth redistribution is usually one of America's most politically divisive topics. Liberals push for it, conservatives resist it, and the two sides barely find middle ground on anything. But when the threat hits people's jobs directly, something changes. Right now, tech companies are laying off workers at a historic pace. Amazon, Google, Meta, they're all cutting headcount aggressively to fuel their AI expansion. And these aren't just low-level positions. Engineers, product managers, content moderators, skilled workers across entire departments are being pushed out. The survey shows workers aren't just worried anymore. They're angry. They're demanding the government step in to protect them. And this AI wealth fund, an idea that would have been considered radical a year ago, is now becoming mainstream policy. To understand why workers are suddenly backing this wealth fund, you need to know what's actually happening in tech. Artificial intelligence is getting smarter and more capable every month. Companies discovered they can now use AI to do work that used to require people, so they're replacing people with AI. But what changed recently is the sheer scale. This isn't a few jobs disappearing quietly. In 2024 and 2025, tech companies cut over 400,000 jobs, the highest number in a decade. That's like laying off the entire population of a mid-sized city. Meta cut 13% of its workforce in one round. Google cut 12,000 people. Amazon cut over 18,000. And the layoffs keep coming every quarter. Company executives say it's necessary. They need to cut costs to invest in AI research and development. They'll be more profitable if they slash headcount now. But here's what workers see. Their employer just announced record profits. Yet 2 weeks later, they're being pushed out. The company is making more money than ever. AI is supposed to make everyone more productive, more rich, more free. Instead, workers are seeing job insecurity and wage pressure. That contradiction is exactly why the wealth fund idea is gaining traction. The numbers here are staggering. 400,000 tech jobs lost in just 18 months. But that's just the beginning. Research from labor economists suggests that as AI becomes more capable, potentially millions of jobs across the entire economy are at risk, not just in tech. Accountants, paralegals, customer service representatives, data entry clerks, software developers, all of these roles could be partially or fully automated in the next 5 to 10 years. The White House estimates that as many as 300 million jobs worldwide could be affected by generative AI. That's not a small thing. That's a fundamental reshaping of the job market. And here's the brutal part: most workers don't have a realistic plan for what happens next. They didn't choose to have their skills become obsolete. The technology just appeared. Companies adopted it. Their jobs vanished. The workers who are surveyed, the ones backing the wealth fund, are largely older, skilled professionals who thought they had stability. They worked hard, got educated, climbed the career ladder. Then AI arrived and the ladder dissolved beneath them. They're not asking for charity. They're asking for the profits that AI generates to be shared. If a company makes billions because it replaced 50,000 workers with AI, shouldn't those displaced workers get some of that benefit? That's the logic driving support for this policy. These aren't just statistics, they're real people's lives. Consider Sarah, a content moderator at Meta. She worked there for 7 years, reviewed posts, made $55,000 a year. Then Meta announced an AI moderation system could do her job better, faster, cheaper. She was laid off alongside 1,300 other moderators in the same week. No warning, no severance beyond the legal minimum. She's been looking for work for 8 months. Employers see her resume and ask, why switch to human content moderation when AI does it now? She's skilled, but her skill became commoditized overnight. Or take James, a financial analyst at an investment firm. He spent 15 years building expertise in reading market trends. A year ago, his company deployed an AI system that analyzes data faster and more accurately than he does. He got offered a choice: train the AI to fully replace your role, or leave. He left. Now he's 52 years old trying to learn new skills in a job market that prefers younger workers. These are engineer-level professionals, not entry-level workers. They're not struggling because they're unskilled or lazy. They are struggling because AI moved faster than the job market could adapt. They're angry because they played by the rules, worked hard, stayed current, got educated, and the rules changed overnight without their permission. That anger is exactly why 70% of workers are suddenly open to radical economic policy. So what's actually being proposed? The AI Wealth Fund is one idea among several policy solutions being debated. The Wealth Fund version would tax profits from AI companies, maybe a 5 to 20% tax on AI-generated revenues, and distribute that money to displaced workers as direct payments or retraining funds. It's radical, yes, but it's not the only option on the table. Some economists propose an AI dividend, a universal basic income funded by AI productivity gains, so every citizen gets a monthly check just for existing. Others suggest mandatory retraining programs where companies that deploy AI must fund education for workers they replace. Others want antitrust action to break up big tech companies and prevent them from monopolizing AI. Some argue for robot taxes, charging companies for each job replaced by automation, using that revenue to fund social programs. The Wealth Fund specifically targets AI company profits and redirects them to the workers harmed by AI. It's economically different from universal basic income because it's narrower, more targeted. It says, the people who benefited from AI profits have a responsibility to the people harmed by AI displacement. That's why it resonates. It feels like fairness. It's not punishing success, it's requiring successful companies to share the gains when they create massive disruption. Let's say this AI Wealth Fund actually becomes law. What happens next? First, tech companies would face a significant new tax on AI-derived revenue. Most of them would pass some of that cost to consumers. You'd probably see subscription prices go up slightly. Some companies might reduce R&D spending temporarily, though the most profitable ones would absorb it. Second, there'd be a program to distribute payments to workers displaced by AI. This could work several ways: direct cash payments to laid-off workers, funding for retraining programs, or subsidies for people switching careers. The amount matters enormously. A small payment, a few $1,000s, might ease the transition. A generous one, replacing lost income for a year or two, could actually prevent a crisis. Third, and this is important, it would send a clear signal to companies that automation has a cost. Right now, replacing a $50,000 worker with AI that costs $5,000 a year is pure profit. A wealth fund makes that calculation less attractive. Companies would have to factor in the tax cost when deciding whether to automate. That might actually slow down some of the most aggressive workforce reductions. The policy would transform AI from a pure win for shareholders into something with distributed benefits and costs. Would it work perfectly? No. But it would acknowledge a hard truth. When AI creates massive wealth, the people harmed by it deserve to share in that benefit. If you're worried about your job, and honestly many people should be, here's what you can actually do. First, don't panic into inaction. Start building skills that are harder for AI to replace. Creative problem-solving, emotional intelligence, complex judgment calls, these are still fundamentally human. AI can assist, but people still need people for leadership, strategy, negotiation. Second, pay attention to policy discussions. The AI Wealth Fund is one of several ideas circulating in Congress and state legislatures. When your representative is debating AI policy, let them know what you think. Most politicians don't hear from ordinary workers about this. They hear from tech companies and think tanks. Your voice matters. Third, consider pushing your employer for commitments about job security. If your company is investing heavily in AI, ask what they are doing for displaced workers. Demand severance policies, retraining funds, transition support. Some companies are starting to do this voluntarily. It's possible to negotiate. Fourth, connect with other workers. The survey shows workers have a collective interest in AI policy. That collective power, organized, vocal workers, is what actually moves policy. Fifth, start thinking about your career trajectory differently. The job market is changing faster than ever before. The skills that mattered 5 years ago might not matter in 5 years. Stay curious. Stay learning. The people who'll do best in an AI world are those who can adapt quickly and work alongside AI rather than against it. Here's what this survey really means. For decades, Americans have disagreed about wealth distribution, taxes, and government's role in the economy. Those disagreements are still real, but 70% agreement on an AI wealth fund shows something shifted. Workers are united by self-interest in a way they haven't been before. AI isn't abstract anymore, it's taking people's jobs right now. That creates political urgency that policymakers can't ignore. Wealth fund might not pass, or a different solution might win out instead, but something will change. The status quo, where AI generates billions for corporations while workers are pushed out, isn't politically sustainable. Workers won't accept it, and when workers get angry about a technology, policy follows. This moment reminds us that technology isn't inevitable. It's not predetermined. Humans decide how technology gets deployed and who benefits from it. Right now, we are deciding whether AI benefits are hoarded by tech companies or shared more broadly. The survey shows what workers want. What actually happens depends on whether that voice gets heard in the halls of power. Keep an eye on this. It's about to become a major political battle.